There's a lot of myths around the woman's capacity to be able to continue squatting during pregnancy and postpartum. When we're thinking about Olympic lifting and CrossFit, the front squat really is a staple. And in powerlifting, we think a lot more of the back squat. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you all a bit about the front squat and variations that you can make during your pregnancy and into your postpartum recovery that is going to help mitigate any discomfort or issues that you're having within the pelvic floor or any pain around the pelvis or pelvic girdle. When we're thinking about reasons why we would be manipulating or modifying the front squat, the first one during pregnancy is if you are forced to do a Valsalva. If you do a Valsalva, one of your repetitions of your set of 5, it is not a mode to panic. But in general, as we progress through our pregnancy, because there is so much stress down on our pelvic floor and our pelvis is widening in order to get ready for labor and delivery, we're gonna try and use breath as that pressure gauge to allow us to mitigate some of the downwards pressure and force that is going on an already stretched and taxed system. As we're doing a front squat, what you're going to be doing is thinking about breathing in on the way down and breathing out on the way up. If you go through your set of 5, for example, and after you get to rep 3, you're having a really hard time maintaining that exhale pattern, it might be time to bring the weight down just a little bit. Every woman is going to be different in terms of the percentages of their 1 rep max or their relative weights they're going to be able to continue from pre-pregnancy throughout their pregnancy, and the timeline for them to get back postpartum is going to depend. From the postpartum consideration perspective, some of the things that we're thinking about, for example, is method of delivery. When we're thinking about a vaginal delivery, unfortunately, it's one of the biggest risk factors, especially if you've had an instrumented obstetrical delivery where you've had a forceps or vacuum instrument-assisted delivery for risk of pelvic floor dysfunction or issues with the pelvic floor in your postpartum recovery. Things that we're thinking about in this realm in regards to when to push the weights a little bit more, when to layer in something like Valsalva, and when to hold back are going to be some of those pelvic floor considerations. First one being feeling like you're going to leak either urine, gas, vaginal gas, or flatulence, or liquid or solid stool. That's something that can occur during pregnancy and postpartum for athletes, non-athletes, even people who are not pregnant can experience a lot of these issues. The other one that we're going to think about is symptoms of pelvic organ prolapse, which would be heaviness into the pelvic area. Sometimes it feels like a bulge in the vaginal opening. Those types of movements, like the heavy squats, can sometimes exacerbate some of those feelings and symptoms. And it's our cue or our body saying, hello, I'm not ready to handle this amount of weight or this amount of volume or this range of motion. The final one that we're going to be really thinking about is the range of motion if pain is on board. If you are experiencing any type of SI joint pain, pubic symphysis pain, pelvic girdle pain, either during pregnancy or postpartum, going into a full depth squat may actually make some of that pain a little bit worse. And so while we're kind of cooling off your system, bringing that sensitivity down in regards to the pain that you're feeling, modifying to something like a box squat or limiting your range of motion may be more appropriate during this time. We're gonna go through all of these variations and then ways that even if we have to bring the weights down lower than you would have wanted to, we can also manipulate things like pauses and tempo to really give you a good workout, even if you feel like the weight isn't as high as you would like it to be. So let's go through all of those variations. Okay, so we're gonna go through a couple of front squat variations. Squatting is very safe during pregnancy and into postpartum. We just wanna make sure that any leaking, pressure, or pain, we are manipulating variables around that to minimize all of those symptoms. So the first thing that Brooke is going to do is a breathing through exertion change to the front squat, where she's going to inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up instead of doing a Valsalva, and then we're going to manipulate tempo and pause. So I'm gonna get Brooke to pick up the bar. She's gonna take a step back. So she's gonna inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. And this is gonna be important for changing pelvic floor pressure. Then she's gonna do a tempo. So if we are trying to get away from higher loads, she can do a 3-second down, going down, 2, 3, 3 seconds up, 2, 3. This is also great for determining your balance as you progress through your pregnancy. A third one that we really love early postpartum is a pause squat. So going down normal, pausing for 2 seconds in the bottom, and popping back up. Good, you can walk it back in. The final variation that we're gonna go through is a box squat. So if you're experiencing any pubic symptoms or low back pain, Brooke's gonna take another half step back. We have a bench set up here behind her, and this is gonna limit her range of motion. So again, breathing in on the way down, breathing out on the way up, and using the box or bench, one more time, as a cue of how deep to go into the squat. You can manipulate this by bringing the height of the bench up or down, and use the same breathing kinetics.